Welcome, Reflections. You are over here with Tarithia. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the follow button. With that being said, we are over here talking about Atlantis and the Atlanteans. Okay, I've definitely linked a picture to the side so you can have a reference of what we're talking about. With that being said, I'm sure all of you have heard of the Bermuda Triangle and different triangles all across the globe. With that being said, I think it all has a connection. It all comes together. With that being said, especially with the Atlanteans, okay, and Atlantis. With that being said, let's keep going, okay? Every race and religion has a story about a great flood and an entire civilization. Plato claims that the Atlantis was a large island in the Atlantic Ocean, somewhere west of the rock of Gibraltar. This description leads some people to believe that the Atlantis may have been the Aegean island of Thera, also known as Santorini or Sanatoria. They suddenly blew up. Okay, so it was a particular island that was blew up. Reflection. Some even say that the Bermuda Triangle was created by the sinking of Atlantis. Okay, and we all know about the disappearances that happened with the Bermuda Triangle. Okay, they're still going on to this day. It is believed that some of the Atlanteans survived the demise of the island. So even though this particular island was sunken, blew up and sunken, they're saying that some of the people still survived. Okay, so with that being said, let's keep going. Plato claims that the Atlanteans were superlative and blessed people, but had lawless ambition and power. They began valuing material wealth above goodness, causing their divinity within to become faint and weak. Being able to unbear the burden of their possessions, there occurred spontaneous earthquakes and floods, okay? And the Atlanteans were swallowed up by the sea. The area where the Atlantis sunk has been impassable and unsearchable, so you cannot go through this particular area, hence the Bermuda Triangle theory, okay? So in 1973, the United States International reported that a scientific expedition found Atlantis at the bottom of the ocean. So they were saying they sent a team of people close to the bottom of the ocean, because we know that they can't explore the depths of the ocean, but they were saying that they going down deep in the ocean, they actually saw Atlantis, okay, or what they thought to be Atlantis. So with that being said, let's keep it going. It says scuba divers found data to prove the existence of the super civilization. They found evidence of roads, large columns, some with centrometric spirals, monoliths in the exact place described by Plato. Okay, remember Plato was one of the first people to actually speak of Atlantis. Okay, so let's keep it going. It says the expedition revealed over 30 ruins, including pyramids, domes, paved roads, rectangular buildings, columns, canals, and artifacts that have been found on the ocean floor. Okay, so this is what they're seeing when they're exploring on the ocean floor, and we know only how much percent of the ocean is even explorable. Okay, so let's keep it going so you can imagine what's really down there. So it's saying that the artifacts have been found on the ocean floor from the Bahamas to the nearby coast of Europe and even Africa. Dozens of these historians have written about the existence of Atlantis and how the Mayans and the Aztecs have told that their conquerors came from Atlantis. So even the Mayans and the Aztecs were speaking of the Atlanteans, okay? They have written about the ancient tablets photographed in Peru, showing the last two continents, Atlantis and Lemuria, and we will talk more about Lemuria in the next video, okay? And the ancient maps are clearly showing Atlantis. So when you go back and you look at these ancient tablets, it's clearly showing that Atlantis existed, that this particular island is not a myth. This was a actual place, okay? So let's keep it going. This was an actual thing. In 1970, Dr. Ray Brown and the 4 divers explored the ocean floor of the Bahamas and discovered a pyramid, roads, domes, rectangular buildings, unidentified metallic instruments, and a statue holding a mysterious crystal, okay, containing miniature pyramids. Okay, so this is what they're seeing. After analyzing the crystal and the metal devices, it's discovered that the crystal amplified energy that passes through it. Reflection. Okay, so this is what they're seeing at the bottom of the ocean. Explorer Dr. Manson Valentine photographed and published his findings in the 1960s of the ruins and the buildings of Beni Island. Similar ruins were photographed of clay sal in the Bahamas and Morocco, 50 to 60 feet underwater. Okay, Tonio, which was a huge 11-room pyramid 10,000 feet underwater in the mid-Atlantic Ocean. Okay, Erie Marshall Expedition photographed a huge pyramid finding off of Cape Sal, which was in the Bahamas in 1977. Okay, so they're finding these different, when they're going underwater, this is what they're finding. Reflection, it is said to be 150 feet underwater, with the pyramid itself being 650 feet high. Okay, that's just the pyramid itself. Instead of black water surrounding the pyramid, it is surrounded by green water. Reflection, and the water is lit by sparkling white water flowing out of the opening of the pyramids. Okay, so that could be, imagine when they were going down there looking, they're like, what is this? And not only that, they're seeing the water that's surrounding it is actually green. Okay, so let's keep it going. A Soviet expedition led by Boris found a sunken city, a whole city, about 400 miles off Portugal, that had buildings made of extremely strong concrete and plastic streets that suggest the use of monorails for transportation. So transportation was definitely being used. They're seeing a lot of stuff that, well, a lot of blueprints for what you see today is sunken under the ocean. They're like, we see this as above, literally so below. Okay, so let's keep it going. It says the famous ruins of Troy were actually discovered by an explorer who also found a bronze vase made of an unknown metal. So this metal, the stuff that they're finding there, they're finding certain metals that they didn't even know existed. Reflection. Okay, he left a written account about this famous treasure. Inside the treasures are glimpsed in Phoenician. Okay, the Phoenicians claim that they are from King Kronos of Atlantis. Okay, identical poetry was found in Bolivia. Okay, it's saying that an underwater marble acropolis spreading across 5 acres, reflection, of flooded columns raised on pillars have also been discovered. They're seeing all type of things down there. Reflection. Okay, this is just what they're telling you. Okay, so there are also examples of buildings, roads, and columns that are made of materials not available in their areas. So the stuff that is being made, that they're seeing, not only is blowing their mind that they're seeing it, the materials that this stuff is being made out of is not even from this planet. Reflection. Okay, so let's keep it going. Okay, it's also saying the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Greeks, the Egyptians, Spain, India, and Tibet, and islands off the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans all speak of the ancient sunken continents that are connected to the writings. Okay, so they're actually finding this stuff underwater. Okay, it's actually a map that Christopher Columbus used before sailing to America that actually shows Atlantis. Okay, so even before Christopher Columbus discovered America, Atlantis was already shown on the map. Okay, so let's keep it going. All of these discoveries were made public in daily newspapers when they were discovered, but because historians could not explain the human footprints and shoe prints, perfectly engineered cubes, jewelry, and the prehistoric animal with a hole in its skull, okay, that scientists admit could only have been by a bullet, okay, a remnant of a screw, or other modern artifacts. These discoveries have been left out of the history books. Reflection. Okay, they didn't write about that. Okay, but why? Let's keep it going. The Atlanteans' theology was far superior to our own. Okay, one of their greatest accomplishments was actually perfect weather control. The Atlanteans could control the weather. Reflection. They became bored with endless summer weathers and longed for the storms they love so much. So Atlanteans love the rain. They love storms, okay? After all, the Atlanteans came into the physical world for stimulation, all right? Therefore, they control the weather by creating violent storms. So the Atlanteans were known for creating violent storms, summoning violent storms, okay? They also control geological events such as volcanic fountains, steam, and mineral ventings for artistic results. As we all know, this is nothing but cools of, this is a volcanic rock, okay? That's a volcanic rock. Obsidian is nothing but a volcanic rock. Okay, so let's keep it going. The Atlanteans also had technology that our military is highly attracted to, which is known as the threshold technology. Okay, so the Atlanteans had that material, this particular technology even back then. Reflection, it says this is a solid device with no selectable dial that uses time and space as an energy source. Okay, the threshold is a lens into probable existent streams or continuum. There was a mention of this in the movie Stargate. So if you see the movie Stargate, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. And research by the government and what we know as the Philadelphia experiment. So we'll definitely touch more on the Philadelphia experiment in another video. Okay, as was told early in this particular article, there was crystals that were found by scientists discovered that would amplify energy as it passed through the crystal. Reflection. So the Atlanteans worked a lot with crystals. Okay, crystals actually have the ability to transfer, retain, and maintain the intensity of energy. Different crystals do different things. Okay, they can use them to focus and transmit energy over great distances to similar receivers that are equal or comparable to the transmitter. All right, the Atlanteans use these crystals to transmit energy from one pyramid to another. Okay, so that's what the Atlanteans would actually use crystals for. Okay, so when they're seeing these statues that are sunken and they're seeing these crystals, that's what they were used for. Reflection. Okay, so let's keep it going. When the face of the earth was directed toward a certain point, one pyramid would function to intensify or transmit energy to another pyramid that would then act as a receiving device, okay? And it would disperse energy as it was needed. When the pyramid was at an unfocused point, the other pyramids would then become the transmuters, okay? It was a very simple but very effective method that would bring them many troubles later. Let's see why. Atlanteans sped up the growth of the natural crystals to produce crystals at a height as 25 feet to 10 feet in diameter. They had 12 sides and they were used for storing and transmuting power. Okay, similar crystals were about 4 to 5 feet with infused with different colors. Okay, and they also had a variety of faucets that would be used for different purposes such as healing, meditation, psychic development, increasing mental capacity, okay, communications, powering generators, dematerialization, and the transport of objects. Okay, remember, so they're saying they would actually use the crystals to levitate certain objects to build certain things. Reflection. Okay, the Atlanteans were using this at an all-time high. They had mastered the ability of using crystals. Okay, so let's keep it going. Some of the crystals were inverted to 4 to 6 sides and that were infused with various shades of pink or rose. We know that color amplifies love. Okay, these were used as light beams for surgery by changing the molecular structure. So they were actually using crystals to heal the body. Okay, they were also used in soothing pain in areas that included your brain, the eyes, the heart, and your reproductive organs. Okay, crystals are infused with yellow and gold to change the deeper hues of the gold and the yellow if there was a presence of disease. So they would infuse the crystals with different colors depending on what they were finna use them for. Okay, reflection, kind of sort of like what we do today. All right, so with that being said, the Atlanteans were said to meditate for 15 to 20 minutes inside a circle of 6, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, or 24 different types of stones while holding a clear quartz in their hand. Okay, the clear quartz acted as a controller or a facilitator. All right, so they would be inside a circle, and depending on, they would either use 6 circles, 111 circles, 22 circles, you get what I'm saying, or they would write that particular number and put themselves in a circle, okay, while holding the crystal. Okay, so this practice was used to bring rejuvenation and the return of vitality, allowing them to live hundreds of years while maintaining a youthful appearance. Okay, so they were using crystals to control how they appeared in age. Okay, literally they would use crystals. It's almost like a ageless technique. Okay, the crystals receive their power from the sun, just as it does today. If you want to recharge your crystals, where do you put them? You put them in the sun, okay? The Earth's energy grid or each other. The larger crystals are known as fire crystals, which were the central receiving and broadcasting stations, okay? While others acted as receivers for individual cities, buildings, vehicles, and homes, just as they do today, okay? Reflection. Rooms were actually made of crystal, okay, were placed where those of secret knowledge on a spiritual level left their bodies in their final transition. So they would actually not necessarily bury them, but their body would be placed in these particular statues, these particular tombs that were made of nothing but crystal. Okay, obsidian being one of them, a popular one. Okay, so with that being said, let's keep it going. The crystals receive their power from the sun, the Earth's energy grid, or another. Okay, this is also mentioned with fire crystals. Remember, the fire crystals were used as broadcasting stations, those communication stations. Remember, the pyramids and the crystals, they would transmute, okay, certain things to other pyramids. All right, remember, energy doesn't die, it just keep going and keep going and keep going. Okay, so he claims that a house in a special oval-shaped building that had a dome that could be rolled back, allowing the crystal to be exposed to the sun, moon, and the stars during favorable times. It appears that the crystals gathered solar, lunar, stellar, and astrometric and earth energy, as well as unknown elemental forces. Okay, so they would have a particular dome-looking statue or building. And at the top, they would have something where they would have a crystal inside of it. And they would have something where they could actually move it. So the sun or the moon on those particular times, just like kind of you do now, times are more potent depending on what you're trying to do. You would do this during a full moon. You would do this during your solar eclipse. You would do this during, you get what I'm saying, reflection. So they would actually have something where they would actually kind of like a little doorway where they can push it, and then it would come through and it would emit on the crystal. Okay, so remember, certain crystals retain energy and some emit energy. Okay, so let's keep it going. It also says that these crystals were used extensively for many things, such as extracting this and the forms of basic substance, which using division of energy, which is able to grow things. Okay, some divisions of energy were also used for healing and knowledge and to increase substances. They also use them to disassemble molecular structures such as certain diseases in the body. Okay, this extensive use of crystals is what led the Atlanteans to becoming greedy for power, as they would like to say. Okay, or was it really the Atlanteans that were becoming greedy for power, or was it the neighboring, the people that were around them? Okay, everyone didn't know how to use these particular crystals. Remember, Atlanteans were masters at using crystals. Okay, so let's get, that's a video for another day though. It says they tuned the great crystals to higher and more destructive frequencies, activating volcanoes and melting mountains, causing the catastrophic which caused Atlantis to sink in the ocean, and possibly the shift of the Earth's axis, okay? But we all know that Atlantis did not sink due to activating volcanoes and melting mountains and destructive frequencies. We know that there was a war on Atlantis, and that is what actually caused Atlantis to sink. And that is a video for another day. Make sure y'all join me on part 2, because we're going to talk about Lemuria. With that being said, reflection, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. You over here with Tarithia. Ashe.